I'm Anne Dollery, the Vicar of St Dunstan's, and this is a midweek reflection recorded on Wednesday, the 12th of May. Yesterday, my email went down. I had no email from about midday until about 10 o'clock at night. It took me about 4 or 5 hours to realise that the problem wasn't at my end, and it was the same issue for most of the rest of the people using my email provider who lived in the southeast of England. This fact that there was no email, but I still had phone calls, I still was able to take part in a Zoom meeting, meant that I wasn't that much more isolated. But because of the situation of all of our isolation at the moment, any change, any reduction in our ways in which we can communicate and be in touch with each other makes a big difference. And for me, I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, obviously, I could speak to people on the phone. I was not isolated, but the need to be in touch, I think, has the need for continuing isolation in different ways to prevent the virus spreading, continues for longer and longer. So we become more aware of the importance of how we can be in touch with each other, how we can see each other, whether it's on WhatsApp or whatever we use, or Zoom. It might be through the window, it might be at the foot of our gate, it may now be in the park. But we are all, in some ways, continuing to be isolated. And while we are isolated from each other still, from family and friends, some of us can't go back to work, and some of us are isolated in other ways during this time. Nowhere, I realised yesterday evening, having finally got quite upset about the loss of my internet, nowhere are we, any of us, ever isolated from God's love, for his loving care, his mercy. But yesterday evening, I didn't feel like that. I, in my upset, managed to spill a whole large glass of squash all over the carpet. It's still drying out. And I sat down and, in my upset and general discontent at my situation, watched the television. Life continued. And it took me until this morning to remember that whatever else was happening on electronic media, through the phone lines, God was with me. God is with each of us. And nothing can cut that connection. However busy we are, God is there. We can pray. We can think and reflect, held as children of God. And in these times of isolation in different ways, where we may find that suddenly a connection we were relying on doesn't work for some reason, maybe we can't get hold of somebody, maybe somebody we were counting on cannot come at the time we were expecting them. Whatever the situation, God holds us and is connected with us through his love, through the love of Jesus Christ, who died and rose for us, that ultimate love. And so I would like to finish as I reflect now that God was as much with me as I stomped around and was generally upset yesterday evening, as he is today. And he is with each one of us as we are now, not as we feel we should be or might be, but however our situation is, God is with us. And there is no outage with God. There is no disconnection for his love. I'd like to read a modern translation of part of Psalm 139, which puts this far better than I do. God, is there any place I can go to avoid your spirit, to be out of your sight? If I climb to the sky, you are there. If I go underground, you're there. If I flew on morning's wings to the far western horizon, you'd find me in a minute. You're already there waiting. Then I said to myself, oh, he even sees me in the dark. At night, I'm immersed in the light. It's a fact. Darkness isn't dark to you, Lord. Night and day, darkness and light, they're all the same to you. Amen.